Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Hope you are all well by the grace of Almighty Creator. I am also fine. Welcome to my online class. This is Ashraf Islam from Milestone Excellent College. Today I am going to discuss about chapter 1, that is lower organism.
Dear students, write these informations in your science copy. Don't forget to note this point. Lecture number 1, lesson 1, 2 and 3, topic microbial world and virus. Now we will discuss about this topic. Microbes. Dear students, at first we have to know what is microbes. Definition. Microbes are tiny living organisms that are found all around us and are too small which cannot be seen by bare eyes. I repeat once again. Microbes are tiny living organisms that are found all around us and are too small which cannot be seen by bare eyes. They do not have well-organized cells with specific nucleus. They are known as microorganisms. Here micro, that means small, okay? In early stages, life has been initiated from these microorganisms are termed as prokaryotic or primitive organisms. Where they live in water, soil and in the air. The human body is home to millions of these microbes too, also called microorganisms. Example, virus, bacteria, algae, fungi, protozoa, etc. Note these examples again. Virus, bacteria, algae, fungi, protozoa, all are microbes. Note, some microbes make us sick, others are important for our health. Kingdom of microbes. In class 6, you have seen 5 kingdom of classification of the living worlds proposed by Whitaker and Margulis. Dear students, in class 6, you have seen 5 kingdom of classification of the living worlds proposed by Whitaker and Margulis. Note this name, Whitaker and Margulis. On this classification, microorganisms are placed under kingdom Monera, Protista and Fungi. At present, microbiologists classify the microbial world into 3 kingdoms. Those are Kingdom 1, Eukaryota, Kingdom 2, Prokaryota and Kingdom 3, that is Eukaryota. Now we will discuss about this kingdom. Kingdom 1, Eukaryota. Eukaryota or acellular. These organisms are so small that they cannot be seen even under a light microscope. These organisms are so small that they cannot be seen even under a light microscope. An electron microscope is needed to see them, such as virus. Kingdom 2. Prokaryota or primitive cells. Members of this kingdom do not have well-organized nucleus. Members of this kingdom do not have well-organized nucleus. Cell without organized nucleus is termed as primitive cell, such as bacteria. Kingdom 3, that is eukaryota or true cells. Microbes having true cells are called eukaryota. Algae, fungi, and protozoa are eukaryotic microbes.
Cells are the smallest living units of an organism. All cells have three things in common, no matter what type of cell they are. All cells have a cell membrane, which separates the inside of the cell from its environment, cytoplasm, which is a jelly-like fluid, and DNA, which is the cell's genetic material. There are two broad categories of cells. The first category is eukaryotic cells. They have organelles, which include the nucleus and other special parts. Eukaryotic cells are more advanced, complex cells, such as those found in plants and animals. The second category is prokaryotic cells. They don't have a nucleus or membrane-enclosed organelles. They do have genetic material, but it's not contained within a nucleus. Prokaryotic cells are always one-celled or unicellular organisms, such as bacteria. So, what are organelles? Organelle means little organ. Organelles are the specialized parts of a cell that have unique jobs to perform. Let's start with the nucleus, the control center of the cell. The nucleus contains DNA, or genetic material. DNA dictates what the cell is going to do and how it's going to do it. Chromatin is the tangled, spread-out form of DNA found inside the nuclear membrane. When a cell is ready to divide, DNA condenses into structures known as chromosomes. The nucleus also contains a nucleolus, which is a structure where ribosomes are made. After ribosomes leave the nucleus, they will have the important job of synthesizing or making proteins. Outside the nucleus, the ribosomes and the rest of the organelles float around in cytoplasm, which is the jelly-like substance. Ribosomes may wander freely within the cytoplasm or attach to the endoplasmic reticulum, sometimes abbreviated as ER. There are two types of ER. Rough ER has ribosomes attached to it, and smooth ER doesn't have ribosomes attached to it. The endoplasmic reticulum is a membrane-enclosed passageway for transporting materials, such as the proteins synthesized by ribosomes. Proteins and other materials emerge from the endoplasmic reticulum in small vesicles, where the Golgi apparatus, sometimes called the Golgi body, receives them. As proteins move through the Golgi body, they're customized into forms that the cell can use. The Golgi body does this by folding the proteins into usable shapes, or adding other materials onto them, such as lipids or carbohydrates. Vacuoles are sac-like structures that store different materials. Here, in this plant cell, the central vacuole stores water. Going back to the animal cell, you will see an organelle called a lysosome. Lysosomes are the garbage collectors that take in damaged or worn-out cell parts. They are filled with enzymes that break down this cellular debris. The mitochondrion is an organelle that is the powerhouse for both animal and plant cells. During a process called cellular respiration, the mitochondria make ATP molecules that provide the energy for all of the cell's activities. Cells that need more energy have more mitochondria. Meanwhile, the cell maintains its shape through a cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton includes the thread-like microfilaments, which are made of protein, and microtubules, which are thin, hollow tubes. Some organisms, such as plants, that are photoautotrophic, meaning they capture sunlight for energy, have cells with an organelle called a chloroplast. The chloroplast is where photosynthesis happens. It's green because it has a green pigment called chlorophyll. Plant cells also have a cell wall outside of their cell membranes that shape, support, and protect the plant cell. Animal cells never have a cell wall. There are many other unique structures that only some cells have. Here are just a few. In humans, for example, the respiratory tract is lined with cells that have cilia. These are microscopic hair-like projections that can move in waves. This feature helps trap inhaled particles in the air and expels them when you cough. Another unique feature in some cells is flagella. Some bacteria have flagella. A flagellum is like a little tail that can help a cell move or propel itself. The only human cell that has a flagellum is a sperm cell. In summary, remember, eukaryotic cells are plant and animal cells with a nucleus and membrane-enclosed organelles, while prokaryotic cells are unicellular organisms without these things. All cells have a cell membrane, cytoplasm, and genetic material. And even though only plant cells have chloroplasts, both plant and animal cells have mitochondria.
Dear students, we have seen few new words here. Those are eukaryota, prokaryota, eukaryota, microbes, and virus. Now let me discuss about these words. Eukaryota. Here A means no, karyota that means cell related, eukaryota or acellular. Prokaryota, here pro that means not true or primitive. Karyota that means cell related. Prokaryota that means primitive cells. Eukaryota, here eu that means true. Karyota that means cell related. Eukaryota that means true cells. Microbes, we have already discussed about microbes. Virus. Now we will discuss more about virus.
Dear students, now we will learn more about virus.
Definition: virus is an infectious agent of small size and simple composition that can multiply only in living cells of animals, plants, or bacteria. Virus is an infectious agent of small size and simple composition that can multiply only in living cells of animals, plants, or bacteria. The name is from a Latin word meaning slimy liquid or poison. That means virus means slimy liquid or poison. Invention: the earliest indications of the biological nature of viruses came from studies in 1892 by the Russian scientist Dmitry I. Ivanovsky and in 1898 by the Dutch scientist Martinus W. Beijering. Beijering first surmised that the virus under study was a new kind of infectious agent, which he designated Contagium vivum fluidium, meaning that it was a live reproducing organism that differed from other organisms. Both of these investigations found that a disease of tobacco plants could be transmitted by an agent later called tobacco mosaic virus. Study of virus. The study of viruses confined exclusively or largely to humans, however, posed the formidable problem of finding a susceptible animal host. In 1933, the British investigators Wilson Smith, Christopher H. Andrews, and Patrick P. Laidlaw were able to transmit influenza ferrets, and the influenza virus was subsequently adapted to mice. In 1941, American scientist George K. Hurst found that influenza virus grown in tissues of the chicken embryo could be detected by its capacity to agglutinate, that means draw together. Agglutinate, note this point. Agglutinate, that means draw together red blood cells. More about virus. Virus cannot be seen without electron microscope. These are the simplest organisms. In virus, cell wall, plasma membrane, organized nucleus, cytoplasm, etc. are absent. So, virus body is called acellular. They are composed of only protein coating and nucleic acid, that is DNA or RNA. Bacteriophage, that means eater of bacteria, is a common virus among all viruses. Bacteriophage, that means eater of bacteria, is a common virus among all viruses. Shape of virus. Virus may be round, rod-shaped, tadpole-like, or braid-shaped. Diseases. Virus causes pox, measles, sneezing, influenza, etc. in human body. Also, tremor of rice, mosaic disease of tobacco. I repeat it once again, dear students. Diseases, virus causes pox, measles, sneezing, influenza, etc. in human body. Also, tremor of rice and mosaic disease of tobacco. My dear students, today we have learned about microbial world and virus. Now was another video on this topic. Hope you will enjoy this video.
Today, we're going to learn about viruses. Have you ever had the flu?
Achoo!
Do you know why we catch the flu?
Achoo!
It's probably because of a virus. Do you know what viruses are? We'll tell you all about them. What are viruses? Viruses are microorganisms. This means they are invisible in plain sight. To be able to see them, we need a microscope. Did you know that viruses are not living organisms? This is because, unlike cells, viruses cannot carry out the vital function of reproduction by themselves. To be able to carry out the vital function of reproduction, viruses need a host, that is to say, a living being, in which to live. When they find one, the host will be infected by the virus. From this point forward, the virus will be able to replicate its genetic material in the host cells and copy itself many times to infect the entire organism. That's why sometimes viruses are known as infectious agents. Viruses' structure. Viruses are simple organisms, found almost anywhere. Their main structure consists of an exterior shell called capsid, and genetic material found inside the virus. The capsid is usually made of protein. The genetic material, which can be either DNA or RNA, contains necessary information to elaborate and form the complete structure of the virus. Some viruses may have an additional outer wrapping cover. How do viruses spread? Viruses can spread through different vectors like animals, water, air, food, or objects. A vector is the carrier of a virus that can infect other organisms. A mosquito bite, for example, can cause a virus to spread to another animal. Every time we cough, viruses spread out in the air. They are easily transmitted and infect living beings in the environment. That's why we should cough into our upper sleeve or elbow, not our hand, to avoid infection by contact. Having good hygiene habits like washing our hands regularly can prevent contact transmission with contaminated objects or food. Vaccines. As we mentioned before, some viruses cause diseases like the flu. Luckily, our immune system is there to protect us against viruses. As a prevention measure, we also have vaccines. Vaccines prepare our immune system, teaching it how to recognize a virus. It's like meeting someone for the first time. He or she will not be a stranger anymore. Next time you see them, you'll know who they are. The same thing happens with vaccines and our immune system. Vaccines introduce our immune system to the virus, and if at some point this virus enters our body, the immune system will remember which one it is and will react. This is how we won't get sick. We also have medicines that can relieve the symptoms, but are not able to cure the viral infection. Diseases. Some diseases caused by a virus are influenza, common colds, or certain cases of gastroenteritis. There is no vaccine yet for certain viruses. That's why they can be mortal. To tackle this problem, scientists all over the world work hard to find vaccines that will save millions of lives in the future. Other diseases caused by a virus attenuate their effect the moment we get infected, but thanks to vaccines, they are not lethal. These diseases are measles, rubella, or mumps. However, high-risk populations like children, asthma patients, or elderly people should be vaccinated every year.
Dear students, hope you enjoyed all. See you again inshallah. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.